What's the worst that can happen in your job search? I don't want this to happen to you, but here are 5 of them and how I would navigate it if I was in your shoes. You know that feeling. You prepped for weeks, nailed every round, and they might have even told you you did a great job, and then nothing. No update, no rejection, no feedback, complete radio silence. And the real kicker to this is that you're not alone. Look at all these headlines from just the last few weeks and months. So it makes you wonder, is the hiring process broken? Is there anything that you can do to snap out of it? Well, let's find out. In this episode, we're walking through the 5 worst situations you can face in your job search that makes you question everything, but fear not, we will also get to a solution. So first, we will cover the dreaded ATS. You might have heard about it all over social media, but what is it, right? Are we trying to impress humans or robots? Second, what if you get the interview, but then magically the job is put on hold? Is that for real? Are they lying? We'll talk about that as well. Third, maybe the worst case out of all of them, you go through 5 rounds of interviews and then they ghost you. Why the F did this happen? How do we cope? How can we get back at them? All of that coming up soon. The fourth situation, or it might be even worse, you get to the final round, it's between you and somebody else, and then the role is canceled. So why the hell do they even post a job in the first place? And then to round it all out, as expected, as you go through the ups and downs of this roller coaster, you face burnout, natural. So what can you do to bounce back and move forward? So let's start with the first question about the ATS. Are we trying to impress humans or beat the robots? I got this DM from Godfrey. Hey Sho, everyone says I need to beat the ATS, but are hiring managers even reading resumes that way? Or are we just stressing out over robots for no reason? You know, it's a fair question because you might be thinking, I've already stuffed all the keywords. I've already made my resume into the simplest format. I've already done everything that I've read and heard about it from your videos. So why am I not getting interviews? So let's settle this ATS debate because there's so many videos around the ATS. But I'm going to tell you truthfully, the ATS is not out to get you. And even the recruiter, they're not out to get you. Because at the end of the day, the ATS is just an applicant tracking system. It's a tool that recruiters use to help them do their job. At the end of the day, it's still going to be a recruiter who looks at your resume and says, should I consider this person or should I not consider this person? It's not going to be a robot. So the first recommendation for you, Godfrey, is don't stress over this ATS. It's actually meant to help the recruiter and even help you. Because what an ATS does, here's an example of it, it just parses through your resume and looks for key things. And if you already have those things on your resume, it's actually gonna make the recruiter's job easier for them to find you. One thing I recommend before even working on your resume is study the job description first. What kind of skills are they looking for? What kind of technical ability are they looking for? What kind of experiences would be a nice to have in this role? After you have dissected the job description, those are the things that you want to put onto your resume. And for most of the people that we work with, usually mid-level manager positions and above, I would recommend a clean template like this. That's just simple, easy to read, and you can do on a Google Doc or a Word document. And it has these elements right here: summary, key skills, your experiences, and your education. If you're able to have that and you're able to dissect the job description accordingly, you should be getting an interview. But most importantly here, remember, when you're writing a resume, write for a human, my friend. These are also some ChatGPT prompts that you could use to potentially help you write your skills and write your experiences in a different way. So let's say you got past the ATS, you got an interview, things are going well, but remember, don't just copy and paste, still write like a human because a human will still read that resume. But then you just got an email saying the job is put on hold. Are they lying or is that for real? Hey friends, welcome back to the Work Happier podcast with Sho Dewan. I am your work hype man. I'm here to get you hired, get you paid, and get you to work happier. And as always, if you have a DM that you want me to answer next, please email us here or DM us here and we will feature you in our next episode. I got this DM from Nick and he said, hey Sho, I went through 3 rounds of interviews for a nonprofit company and I was told it's between me and another candidate. They called me now saying the position is on hold. Do you think they're lying? Oh my goodness. I think that's like the worst things you can do as a company is just string multiple candidates to this final position and letting them know, oh yeah, by the way, you're not getting the job, you're not getting the job, no one's getting the job because the job is on hold or maybe it doesn't even exist. That's the worst, weakest move that a company can do. But unfortunately, it happens more often than you think. So to answer your question, are they lying, are they not? Oftentimes, they're not lying. Maybe they could be a little bit more specific on why it's on hold, but a lot of times companies aren't saying this to lie. It's still a shitty move, but what this really comes down to is that hiring manager or that hiring team, they didn't know who they were looking for. But some of the other reasons that role might be on hold are some of these right here. But again, none of it about you or the other candidates or anything. It's about them and how shitty they are. But with that said, what can you do next? I would actually recommend sending an email like this, because even though it's the wrong thing that they did to you, you still want to showcase your interest. You still want to showcase that you're capable for doing this role, so that when this role does pop up, because fingers crossed it does, they will think of you and say, hey, we already interviewed somebody, they already did great for this, let's bring them back in and let's give them an offer. That's what you want. So that's when you get told that the role is put on hold. But what happens if there's no closure at all? So I got this DM from Marie, and I think Marie has been in situations that we all have been, but this is what she says. Hey, Show, I had 5 interviews. A good thing. It was exhausting, but I thought it would be worth it. I was with the boss, skip level, and panel. They said I did great. Then nothing. I haven't heard back ever since. What do I do? Do I follow up again? Oof, okay. I don't know more context about this, Marie. So has it been, 1 day since the last interview? Has it been 1 week? Has it been a few weeks? So I think it really depends on the context. So if the interview was less than a week ago, I would say actually don't panic, because it's normal, especially for a company after all these rounds of interviews. They have to do their due diligence, they have to go through their notes, and they have to decide who the best candidate is, right? So if it's been less than a week, I think it's fine, but I hope you still sent a thank you email, and if you didn't, you still have time. You can use a template like this. But now, if it's been more than a week, let's say it's been 1 to 2 weeks, I would highly recommend you to follow up. Don't already assume that they're ghosting you. Just think like, hey, they're probably taking their time, and it's okay for me to nudge them and ask for a follow-up. You can use an email like this to ask for that follow-up. And again, if it's only been 1 to 2 weeks, I would still say stay optimistic and still think that role is still very possible to be yours. But now the third category, when it's been weeks, maybe even months of not hearing back, it's unfortunate. It's the worst position to be in, but unfortunately they might have ghosted you. And my rule for follow-up is I would follow up every week until I get an answer. So let's say you've followed up now for the last 3 weeks and they still said nothing. I would then try to escalate this to try to get a decision. So maybe you've been trying to follow up with HR or the recruiter, but if it's been 3 weeks or more, maybe even 2 weeks or more, I would then try to think of who can I reach out to that I already spoke with in the interview. So this might be the hiring manager, this might be someone in the panel interview that you met, this might be someone senior that you met. You just want to find their email, or if you can't find their email, go to their LinkedIn profile and just send them a note. Maybe even a note like this. It doesn't have to come across as aggressive, doesn't have to come across as blaming anybody, but it's just a little nudge that, hey, I've been waiting and I would really appreciate a response, right? So now we talked about the ATS, the role being put on hold, getting ghosted, but what do you do if the role just flat out gets canceled? So this is a DM I got from Talia, and she says, hey Show, I just found out the job I applied to was canceled entirely. Oh man. Even worse, it was already promised to an internal candidate, but they still interviewed 5 of us to check the box. I feel so used. Oh my goodness. Okay, I take back what I said earlier. This is the worst thing that a company can do. I know it's a shitty situation, Talia, and it's a shitty thing that the company did, but sometimes you would have no idea until it gets to this place. Sometimes the company can do things, and again, you'll never have all the answers. So if I was in your shoes, Talia, I know this is tough, but I would just send them an email and say, thank you for the opportunity. I learned XYZ and I'm still very interested in working here. And then potentially even then say I saw another team hiring for this role. Is there any possibility to get connected to the hiring manager there? So what you're doing there is you're just keeping that door open, right? And you're taking the high ground. Again, I know it sucks. I know you probably want me to say you should egg the hiring manager or do something crazy, but really our careers are such a long game, and I would hate for you to lose a reputation or for you to burn any bridges because of this. Just know that karma is real. So your chance, your opportunity will show up, my friend. The fact that you went through all these rounds of interviews, it goes to tell me that you're prepared, that when you want something, you go after it, and that you have the skills and experience to do a kick-ass job. Your time will come, my friend. There's sometimes the universe will throw a couple of these curveballs at us that we have to navigate, and it just seems like it's one of those times for you right now. So with that, we come to our last DM for today, and it doesn't surprise me because, again, look at all these headlines from the last few weeks. It's been a hell of a job market this year. But I got this DM from Christian, and Christian says, hey Show, I've tailored every resume, I followed up, I've practiced interviews, and still rejection after rejection. I'm starting to wonder if I should even keep going. What do I do now? Oh man, Christian, if I could give you a hug, if I could give you some encouragement, if I could do anything, I would. But this is the reality of the job search, my friend, and it's a brutal freaking reality, especially with how the job market is. And again, I wish I had this like magic line or magic something to help all these feelings go away and you land that job. But like I said to Talia, this is just unfortunately part of the game. So what I would actually recommend as a friend, as a coach, as just someone that you watch on the internet, give yourself a little bit of grace, my friend. I can feel that you're being really hard on yourself. And oftentimes, because you're so hard on yourself, because you put this pressure on yourself, we don't perform at our best when we have this baggage on us. So as much as possible, try to go back to your old self. Try to get the energy up. Try to do things that you actually enjoy. Because hiring managers, recruiters, companies, they can feel that. They can feel that. And at the end of the day, it's not the desperate candidate who gets a job. It's going to be the candidate who often doesn't need that job because of their energy, because of how they act and show up. It's those candidates that have the leg up. So that's what I would recommend for you, Christian. Don't do any more applications. Don't work on your resume anymore. Just take a break, take a breather, give yourself some grace, and come back. Maybe watch some of our videos to help you gain a little bit of momentum, and then hit it. So now you've heard all those 5 situations. So when people ask me, is the hiring process broken? You know what my answer is? It probably is, my friend. But just because the hiring process is broken does not mean that you're broken. It's often on the company. It's often on the hiring manager and the hiring team who don't have their shit together. But unfortunately, this is just how the recruitment process is. It's messy. It can take a long time. It can be biased. But that's just part of the game. And I know when you get your role, all of this is going to be worth it. I know it's a long journey. I know it's not fair. I know it's not fun at times. But your time will come, my friend. And when it does, you're going to be a reason why the hiring process gets fixed. Because you're going to be a hiring manager soon too. You're going to go up in the ranks and you're going to fix it for all the people who come after you. So if you can relate to any of those 5 situations that we just outlined right now, this is what I would recommend. First, focus on what you can control. You can't control the hiring manager. You can't control the company if the role's on hold or it's canceled. You can only control what you can control, which is yourself and the energy that you bring and how you show up to every interaction, every email, every follow-up, every interview. That's all you can control. And if you did your best every single time, you can rest your head on your pillow knowing that you did everything you could and you did a great job. The second thing is expecting that things won't always go your way and being okay with that. Because there's never been a candidate who has said, I want this job and I applied to this job and they get it. Every single job search will go through these ups and downs and you just got to be prepared for that mentally, physically, maybe even. You just have to be ready because it's going to happen to you too. But again, all that's going to be worth it at the end. And then the final thing is remember to protect your peace. Remember to give yourself a little bit of grace because it's not easy out there. So be easy on yourself, be kind to yourself because your time is going to come too. So that wraps up today's episode. I hope you got some good value out of it. Remember, if you have a DM or email us and DM us here and we will feature you next week. Okay, my friend? Until next time, stay confident, keep working on the shit you like, and as always, let's get you working happier. See you next week.